name's Julian, in-game name Papercut, and I do replay reviews to help people out. I often find that on RTSs, having someone look at your gameplay and give you feedback and their thoughts is one of the best ways to improve. And I have a person here, I always prefer, I'm going to mess up the names I'm saying, Mikadomin, who asked me to look at this game specifically about what to do in response to the Malian push. On the AoE Reddit, he talked about how he wanted to know was there a way he could have defended this Malian push better. And with most things, when it comes to a game like this, it's actually not what you're doing within the push. Sometimes it is, but it's often not what you're doing within the push. It's often what happened before that push that makes or breaks if you win or lose it. So we want to look at today what he did, what he could have done better, and at the end kind of stamp some concrete things to try next time. So he is a Roost player. He's playing against the Malians, which is a really weird civ to play against. Whenever you enter a game against your opponent, you have to ask, what is your opponent going to try to do? What's your best response to that? And what's your opponent's strengths and weaknesses? Malians, they're really good against gold units such as knights and men-at-arms because they have Mustafadis. And then castle, they have archers with poison arrows. And so usually your best counter is like a horseman archer comp, or if you can mass up enough knights, then you'll be good to go. On top of that, when you hit castle, you really want to out-siege them because they're going to try to go for huge masses of like archers usually. And even then, even if you go to TC, the Malians do an amazing job of keeping up economically, even on 1 TC. So how you play them is a little bit unique compared to how you play against most other civs. And the things they try to do. So let's get into it. You go into a normal Roost opening. The first small critique I have is a lot of times Roost players go 3 scout, and you don't. And to do 3 scout, you usually send out your first scout, you then make a second scout out of your TC and send it the other way, and then you make the third scout out of your hunting cabin and you send them close. So the idea is that with 3 scouts, you're getting a lot of the sheep, especially if they stay 1 scout. You also then get usually their hunts on the opposite sides before they can get to them. And then you have a closer scout who's gathering sheep close by, getting the close deer pack, and then getting back for food. I think you should do this here, especially on a small map like the pit. Having 3 scouts, 1, gives you vision almost the entire map, so you know what your opponent's doing. And 2, it allows you to really make sure you get max amount of bounty as possible. So I would suggest you actually do 3 scout, and since you are a diamond rank, I think you have the 8 PM to do so. And if not, the only way you're going to get better at it is doing it. So I would suggest a small tweak at the start, do 3 scouts. So 1 scout out of the TC, 1 scout out of the hunting cabin, send 1 scout off far, send the other scout out the opposite way far, and then send this one close to clean up close sheep and get your closest hunt. So you run up, you get this hunt that's in the middle, which is a good grab. You got these sheep over here, and this is what I mean. You should have then just run straight back, and there's always usually a hunt somewhere either in this corner or this corner, and checking that would have been huge because there's no way he would have had time to kill that hunt, in my opinion, and get to this spot unless he's doing 2 scout. Just send the second scout out. So, something unique about this game is that this is actually the second game Mikadomin has played against this Malian player. So he knows the Malian player likes to steal deer. In fact, he kind of knows this Malian player's strategy. His go-to strategy is start with pro scouts, warrior scouts, using warrior scouts and then making them pro scouts. They pick up the deer, so steal the initial food away, and then they rush castle and do Farimba and do a push. So he knows that. And I think how you respond to that actually puts you on a really bad foot. So you age up, and here's where I think is your first issue. If you know your opponent is going to do pro scouts, do you need the Kremlin here? Ask yourself, what is the resource that your opponent's going to want to take away the most? Your opponent wants to take away, literally wants to take your food. If you look on the map, you see this juicy food spot. You have a deer pack here, you have berry bush, you have boar, and you have a deer pack right here that you're going to find later. Putting the Kremlin here is huge because it protects all these food sources from being nabbed. And then for some reason, if they start trying to harass your gold, when you pop militia, they actually come out right here. They'll actually come out the TC. And even then, your goal as Rus is going to be aggressive in the feudal age, probably. So he won't be able to harass your gold for long. The second you get out a knight or two, and then start making archers, he can't harass this anymore. And so you really only have to defend until you get your second TC up and start pumping units. And even then, against this kind of build, I think it's okay to go 1 TC. If you get up a group of knights and huge massive archers and walk into his first gold mine, pit mine, and take it out, that ruins his whole castle push. And warrior scouts become really less scary once you get out a few knights. And your archers will tear through them too if you get up an archer mass. But 2TC should work. You just have to, and you almost made it work even with these mistakes we're talking about. But so, against a more unique civ like the Malians, who do a more unique strategy, really no other civ wants to come in and steal your deer like this, put the Kremlin in a spot that's unique. If I was playing China, I would put the Barbican here. Use that advantage of your civ to counter their advantage. Because you know he's not going to kill you or really hurt you over here. And this protects all your food, and you can even do gold from that position too, if you're afraid of going to this gold mine. Because watch what happens when you don't do this. You go out for the second TC, and your goal, of course, is to get the second TC up as fast as possible. You cannot delay it. You need to get it up so you can then start making villagers and getting a military out. Or rush castle, whichever one you feel like you're going to do. He comes out and scouts you. We're pretty certain he has one scout, so you need to make sure you know what he's doing at all times. With you as Rus, you need to make sure that you know exactly what he's doing. You notice he puts down a stable, and losing this scout really, really, really sucks. And that's why having 3 would have been nice, because then you still have this 3rd scout to watch. Partly because you want to know what he's doing. The second he starts, you know, obviously going for castle or not pushing feudal, that helps you know what to do. But second, he's going to have to walk out on the resources soon, and getting 1 or 2 knights in his villager line is the thing that's going to really slow him down. So you need to keep this scout out here, watching his base. Instead, you bring this scout back, and he doesn't really do anything after this. Yes, there might be another wolf or hunt back here, but it's actually more worthwhile to keep your scout up here, watching. So you're rushing, and you're actually getting close to this second TC. You actually take a few villas off, and then you decide to do this big wall to protect your wood, to protect your food. I think this wall is a big reason why you're going to lose. And the reason being is you have to spend so many resources getting this wall up, which means you're not getting your TC up, which means you're not getting villagers up, which means you're slower on the response. And watch what happens he's able to do with this. You could hypothetically be getting a second TC out if you hadn't been so focused on getting this wall up. Not only that, he catches you and kills a villager in response, in which you only kill 1. I mean, this was a great trade for him. You have 5 villagers who are not doing anything right now. And if he was smarter, he would have just come down back here and took him anyway. And this wall would have been wasted. But think about how much wood you dropped on this wall, which, if you hadn't put the wood on this wall, you would have already getting second TC up. And he's going to start poking this wall continuously. He ran a villager up on accident. That's pretty funny. And he's going to force you to waste villager time and waste wood repairing this wall continuously. Like, these villagers that are going to be repairing are going to be not gathering resources. He then forces you to build a barracks, which in this matchup, you really should never build a barracks. I honestly think that you should be stables, archery range, and siege only. You might only go barracks and castle just to get a huge spear line. If he goes like heavy horse, you might want to do a huge spear line in siege. But doing a barracks this early is, once again, you bowing to what he wants. And you're getting this huge macro of wood that you don't really need yet. All of this is to say is that you overreacted to what he was wanting to do, which is now going to put you behind. Not only that, it delays what you're trying to do. That all comes back to, what is the thing I can do from the start? Either A, put your Kremlin here, which protects your food, or 2, c'est la vie. He takes your deer, you still have the boar, you still have the berry bush. If you are able to get out a few knights and archers and pressure him, then you can take deer up here, berry bushes here. Hell, with You're with Bruce's ability to wood gather, and if you put the Kremlin right here, it helps the wood gathering here. With the extra wood, you can start doing farms early. Even it's not ideal, but you'll still have food resources even if you lose the deer. He can't take the boars, which both boars are over here. I'm assuming there's possibilities. Oftentimes when we overreact to different strategies, is often why we lose to them instead of just playing them a little bit more straight up. So you're losing a lot of momentum here. He leaves, and here's the thing. You've seen basically no new warrior scouts, so you can guess he's going castle. And not only that, you have no scouting, so you don't even know if he is. But just from the basis of a lack of new units, he probably is just going straight castle. You're nowhere close. So now you have to rush castle. And he's still forcing this on. You're still repairing. You still have villagers who are doing nothing, basically. You finally get the second TC up, and let's look at the income per minute. He's just smoking you on income per minute right now. So you're at second TC in 9 minutes. It's not even like paying off yet. This boar will definitely help. So let's do the second phase. He hits castle. At this point, you have 2 goals. You can kind of guess his comp. So I'm going to go heavy archers, but you need to see if that's happening. But your only hope is you need to get out either men-at-arms or knights. Well, knights right now, but men-at-arms when you age up. And then you need to get out siege. Siege is going to be the only thing that is really going to be able to save you here. Because now he's going to have castle units. So your archers are going to get smoked by his archers. You actually do a pretty good job of getting up to castle in time. It does take a moment for his Ferimba to kind of gear up. You chase off this. But here's the thing. To get the amount of horsemen or knights you're going to need to kill his archers is going to be really tough. And he's going to get poison arrows anyway. You can get a front line of militia in the first fight you're going to have here. But right now, like, his archers are just way better than yours. You have now way too many spearmen in response to the warrior scouts. So once again, what I'm often seeing is you're over-responding to threats. It's way too many spearmen for this amount of warrior scouts. And they're just warrior scouts. So now you're reacting. You're trying to get out knights, which is good, until he switches to spears, of course. But for now, this force can defend you. You're going to get up, right? You're going up right now. Or you were about to, and then you spent down out of it again. But, like, you just can't compete at this point. And you really need to hit castle a little bit early. Now he's just stealing your gold. Look at this. He's just taking your gold away. You chase him back, and he's playing smart. He's not taking the... He knows he has you. He just has to not take a bad fight. Now you're starting to catch up. You are pumping villagers. You have way more villagers than him, but his passive income is doing some work here. Now, the interesting is that he really does only have like one good push in him. But man, the gold he's getting right now, it's allowing him to just build an army just purely off the gold he's getting. And with your lack of vision, you still don't know what's really going on behind this. Okay, you age up quickly. And this is why I kind of wish you had aged up a little bit earlier and not on the previous push, because now, like you needed the Mangonel for this push right here. Now your goal should be, can I delay him without losing my mass? So for example, like you built these farms here. He's one-track mine here. You should have gone out to the food over here earlier, or put your farms back here, just somewhere where if he walks in here, you're not losing all your eco. Like hiding your eco in the corners, like here, is good. But when you have this push here, and this is a push that isn't necessarily going to kill you yet, you need to hide them away where they have to walk through your main defensive points. Like you're going to lose a lot of your food here if he walks in. But your goal is, I have to delay until Mangonel. You pushing out into this is not great. You need to delay, and if you can get your castle archers up and castle knights up, you're actually in a really good position. Because look, I mean, score shows it. You're actually still in an okay position. The problem is that you went in right when you hit castle instead of when you're ready to fight. Once again, this force is not going to kill you. If you back up into here and force him into your TC fire, or back up here and force him into your TC fire, you save yourself time. Like, defense is all about trying to hold to the absolute moment where you can turn it, or if you're forced to fight. You don't have to fight here yet. Now, see, if you had castle units there, you might have turned that. His archer mass is getting huge, though, and they have poison arrows, but if you had waited till you had castle units, that might have worked. But really, you just need a Magnell out. And you have the wood and gold for it, too. And then he just walks it down. And then you build the Panic Monastery, which is important. But overall, let's kind of talk about the big things that we needed here. First, knowing what your opponent is going to do, and based on what these civs usually do, it's really, really important that you don't overreact. And be willing to be unique in your response. Put the Kremlin, if you know that he wants to take your food, put the Kremlin on the food. If you know that he wants to kind of just delay you and then run castle, either go castle yourself. As Roos, you can go fast castle thanks to your militia. You don't have to build any units. You don't fast castle yourself. Or get aggressive feudal. Don't let a few units completely throw your strategy off pact. Because it delayed your second TC, it delayed you getting units out. Because if you could have got a few units into a space before you hit castle, you could have really, really hurt him. So first is, so once again, I rambled a little bit. So let me restate that again. First thing is react accordingly to what your opponent's strengths are in a way that is not an overreaction. You're not completely changing what you're doing. 2, vision. You need to make sure you're keeping vision on their base. You know what they're doing. 3, when you're in this like lockdown defense here, delay as much as you can. Delay until you think you will have an advantage. What is it you need to stop this sort of push? You need siege. Are you about to die here? No, he hasn't even built rams yet. Back up, buy yourself time. Build a tower. Like, buy. If you had a market down, you could have bought a few stone and just built. Oh, you have a marker right here. You could have dropped a couple towers and put in spring emplacements. But basically, what I'm getting at is you needed to give yourself some time and wait, because you're not going to die here yet. Use your defenses. One small thing you also could have done is 2 knights, send them back here, just do something. Right now, he is completely sure that he has you locked in his base, so his villagers are free. They are around his base. They're in the wood line. Like, you can kind of, on a map as small as Pit, you can kind of guess where they are. So just running, if you had run 2 knights over here, or 2 knights over here, before he put the walls up, of course, or even through right here and just attacking these villagers here, something to stop him. Like, if he's doing this Farimba, if you can get his villagers off gold, his push dies really quickly. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm streaming, though, because I am now a father. I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of it as we get used to, as I get used to being a father and finding time to do that. But I also do direct coaching, so if you're ever interested in doing direct paid coaching, I have examples of that on my YouTube as well, and I'm always willing to do that. Anyway, take care. Hope that helped, and let me know.